All right, what is going on social media family? Corey Brim of Sugar Rim Bar, and I want to take a moment to thank you guys for coming in and watching it today. I think I got a really good one for you. I've been doing these podcasts and doing these things and interviewing people, and what I want to do with this Grindpreneur Nation thing is bring people to the forefront who I think are just industry leaders out there, can really give you some free, some great knowledge and information. And I just want to take a moment to tell you who we got on our show today. So today what we're doing is we're featuring a young lady by the name of Tish Skinner. She is a franchisee owner of a Smoothie King. So Tish, she joined the Smoothie King family in 2006. She's owned and operated 4 Smoothie King locations, and she's been she's in right now I know she's in BWI and she's in Laurel. And if you see right here, has over 15 years of MBA as a franchisee owner. She has an MBA in communications from Morgan State, and she's been featured in Black Enterprise and along with a couple of magazines. But what I want to do is I want to bring her on right now so she can tell you more about her story. And listen, guys, if you watch this all the way to the end, there's going to be chock full of knowledge and information that you should be able to get this right out the mud. So let's bring her on right now. Let's see if I can pull her in. Hey, Miss Tish. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know me, I'm living the dream.
Yes, as usual.
Thank you so much for doing this. Because, we've been trying to do this for a minute, right?
Yes, for a minute.
We've been trying to do this for a minute, but, I'm running Sugar Rim Bar. You're doing your thing. But today, this is about you, sister. This is about you because like I was saying at the top of the thing, I've told you before, and I've told you many times before, I'm trying to give you your flowers now, right? I don't want
Thank you.
Because we don't see a lot, we always hear the stories you see about, Black empowerment and women, but sister, you are out there like you're doing it big and people don't know because you're always working.
Always working. Well, let me start off by saying thank you so much, Corey, for creating this channel and giving us this avenue to spread our knowledge and share information so we can help others be like we are, right? Because we started off as regular people with a vision and just, stuck to it and made sure that our vision came into a reality. So thank you for having this avenue for us. I just want to say that I have been, like Corey said in the beginning, I've been with Smoothie King for a long time, and it's definitely not an easy road, but it's a road that can be taken and conquered. So I'm excited to share my story today and try to empower you guys as much as I can. So Corey, where are we gonna start?
Well, no, look, let's do this. Why don't we let's start from the beginning? Like, how did you get involved? Because people, here's the thing. Most people that are watching this, they have a dream, and or at least most of the people that follow me, they have a business. They've had issues in their business. They've been struggling in their business, and not that you and I don't struggle, but there's a whole story. Like, we could talk forever. We're not going to.
Right.
But there's a whole backstory that people don't know, even with you running successful Smoothie Kings. So let's kind of go back and take it back to, like, how did you get started? How did you get involved in this? Where did it all begin for you?
So I started off in corporate America. I was able to climb the corporate ladder pretty quickly at a young age, being the only Black person in a lot of the companies that I worked for. And at that time, yes, I made a lot of money, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't fulfilled. I always felt like if I can do this for this company, imagine what I can do for myself. So I took the big leap of faith back in 2006. I resigned from my job and then I decided, hey, I'm going to open up a franchise. So it was a challenge on figuring out what I wanted to do. McDonald's is always going to be a good one. There's, a lot of burger spots, but I kind of really wanted something that I can invest back into the community, especially the Black community. There's a lot of times where we don't get healthy options. So I thought Smoothie King was a good idea because I saw the trends. Health and wellness was becoming a big thing. And I wanted to be able to provide that to the community with great tasting smoothies. I mean, come on, seriously. So I took that leap of faith, quit my job, took all my money, and I mean all of it. My 401k, I think I refinanced my house, borrowed money from my parents, like anything I could do to get the capital to build my store. I also got a loan.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did the most.
You quit your job. Come on now, because that's a part where people struggle at. They struggle with whether they should stay at their job or leave their job. That's a huge, when you jump out to this entrepreneur thing, it's hard to, you're getting that paycheck and you got your passion. So what made you jump out there?
I believed in myself. If I don't believe in me, who will? So I knew that I was going to get this done. And by quitting my job, that lit the fire under my butt to make sure that I was successful. So a lot of times when you have something to fall back on, you don't grind as hard as you need to. So by me quitting my job and that was my only source of income, guess what I was doing? Grinding every day and night until I had to be successful. Right. A lot of times in this process as well, you have to have a thick skin because you're going to hear no a lot. I think I heard no from about 10 banks, but the 11th one said yes. If I had quit on number 7, I would have never gotten my business. So, you got to have that grit, you got to have that grind, and you have to have that tough skin and that perseverance. I think it might come from me being from Brooklyn. I don't know what it is, but those are the key to being a successful entrepreneur. Those are the key things.
Brooklyn in the house, without a doubt.
So I moved forward with Smoothie King. I was so excited. This was my first business. I loved it.
Where was you got the first one? Where was the first one at when you got
the first one was in Atlanta, in Chamblee, Georgia. That's where I was living at the time. And we were the first Smoothie King in Chamblee. Excited, opened up, gave a bunch of 16-year-olds their first job. And then what happened? The housing crisis happened.
Oh, this is 2008 then. Yeah, because you started in 2006. So
yeah.
I lost everything in 2008 too.
Right. So we had one good year. I was feeling myself.
Couldn't nobody tell you nothing that first year. They couldn't tell you nothing the first year, right?
I was riding around in the newest car, had 4 houses, just doing the most. And then reality hit when the housing market changes. So let this be a lesson to you guys. You don't have to always just focus on your business, but you've got to focus on macroeconomics as well, because what goes on around you can affect your business as well. So pay close attention to that. So once the housing market happened, the crash happened, people couldn't afford their mortgage. Gas was $5 a gallon. No one's buying a smoothie at this point. That's a luxury item. So Starbucks were closing, Smoothie Kings were closing, very similar to what we see today with COVID. And at that time, I decided to walk away from the franchise because I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel at that time.
And it's a huge financial burden though, right? I mean, because you got to make that money. The economy is dead, but you still got to make that money every month.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I had expenses from the business, I had payroll, and then I had my personal expenses from all those cars and houses I bought when we were doing really, really good. So it was a challenge to maintain. The stress level was out of control. So for my personal well-being, I had to know when to let go, because I could have rode the ship down all the way to the bottom, but to save myself, I was like, you know what? I got the skills and I got the ability. I can start over. So I let it go. I had to file for bankruptcy, which a lot of us are scared to do, but it's just a restructuring. Business people do it all the time. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just you knowing that, hey, this is a challenge that I'm not going to be able to make it through. Let me start over. So I was able to
we think that as entrepreneurs or even as business people, we think that like when we have to start, we feel like it's the end because you've lost everything and it's hard to like pick your life back up because it took everything in you to get that off the ground and then you lose that. But we got to understand that like that was just a phase in life. I mean, you can laugh at it. It wasn't funny then.
It wasn't funny. It was actually embarrassing. It was actually embarrassing because here I am. I'm like, oh, I'm owning a business, all this great things. And then 2 years later, I'm filing bankruptcy. So it kind of made people look at me as if I didn't know what I was doing or I was a failure. But I knew that it wasn't me. I knew I was a good franchisee. It was just the economics at the moment.
What happened to your living situation? Because that's another. Mostly all the entrepreneurs that I even talk to or deal with, and we do these things, we all share. That's the common thing that I think we sort of don't hone in on. We all share the same story. We all share the story of losing it, bills piling up. You got to restructure your life.
Right.
So what was your living situation while all this was happening?
So I owned 4 houses at the time in Georgia. I was renting the 3 of them out and living in one. Of course, it was just, how those Atlanta houses are, just enormous. And I was married at the time. I had 2 kids. One of them was about 2 years old. The other one was about maybe 7 or 8. So it wasn't just me being an entrepreneur. It was me being a mom. It was me being a wife. It was me taking care of the household. And at that time, it seemed like the perfect storm because my marriage wasn't working, kids off the chain in school, business failing. It was like everything that could go wrong and could happen to me was happening. But the key to this is to never give up. Bet on yourself, because once you do that, you're not losing. You're gaining knowledge, you're gaining experience, you're gaining these things that's going to help you in the long run. Like I heard someone say recently, like a seed can't grow without some dirt on top of it. Dirt and darkness is what makes you grow. So it's the same thing for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we think the failure. We don't understand that there's a lesson. Because you're not failing. You're not, it's not like I don't feel like I've failed in all those jobs and businesses and things that I had before I created Sugar Rim Bar. I really took pieces of everything that I learned as a learning experience, and then I applied all of that stuff. Like it was a big pot of experience.
Right.
I applied all of that into Sugar Rim Bar. So then when something happens, when I could see it starting to happen, I was like, oh, I've been here before.
Yes.
I've seen this. I've seen this happen before. So, all right. So this happens. You're at the bottom of the bottom. You're in the abyss. How do you come out of the abyss?
Man, I don't know how I did it. Sometimes I have to think back, like, what? I must have been a really tough cookie back then. But I just looked at everything for what it was. Me losing the store doesn't change me as a person. It just takes away a material item. A house, that's a material item. I can always get one back. I let it go. Foreclosed on all those houses, was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with my 2 kids sharing a bed, and it also taught my kids resilience. Like when things change, you can adapt to it, or you can, fall into depression and do a lot of crazy things. But they saw their mom get through this tough situation, and, they saw me come up on top. And I also got a divorce too. So family structure was a little broken there.
Congratulations. Woo!
Oh yeah, right. Right.
That could be a whole nother podcast about how we separate, right. And because a lot of entrepreneurs, not everyone, but a lot of entrepreneurs in that moment before you get before you achieve your destiny, a lot of us we lost the people that not necessarily that you started this business with, but you lost your husband, your wife, the person that you was with for 5 or 10 years.
Right. Have you ever noticed that when that happens right after, you get blessed?
Yeah.
I call those people blessing blockers. If they weren't for me to take this ride with, then God will remove them, right? It's how you have to look at it.
And there's always a thing that I say, that there's always separation right before the ascension, right? So everything that goes on in life, we feel as though sometimes you'll feel like, you're getting a lot of hate or you're not getting a lot of support. And I'm able to sit here and say this now, and I know you kind of may feel the same way too. I know that going through everything that I've gone through, I know that now, if I'm going through a struggle, or like, we were talking off camera about the lighting and all, if I'm going through all of that, I just know that like God set me up, I'm going through it so I can learn this stuff and I can be stronger, when I come out on the other side of it.
Exactly. Everything for a reason.
All right. So you lost in one place, you had the bankruptcy, marriage is over, kids driving you crazy. How do you get back in the game? What
down in the dumps? Lucky for me, I had a lot of experience at a young age, and I had my MBA at that time. So I was able to land another job in corporate America, paying 6 figures. I'm back in the lap of luxury. But once you are an entrepreneur, you have a hard time taking direction from other people. So those jobs were short-lived because I could not be managed, especially by people who had less experience than I did. So I don't know if you guys want to call it an ego thing. I don't know if you want to call it, I don't know, but I just couldn't do it anymore. And I actually relocated to Maryland and just changed professions all around. I started working for a nonprofit in Baltimore City, helping ex-offenders get back on their feet. And while I was there, my boss said something that put a fire under me. He was like, I was having a challenge with my manager. We didn't get along. And he was like, some people cannot be managed by others because they are meant to be entrepreneurs. And if that's what you are, you can't have a boss because you're a boss.
Wow.
I got it. So now this is 5 years that have passed, and I hadn't, had a Smoothie King then, but I've always had a passion for this brand. I love the company. I love the brand. I love their vision, their mission. I love the product.
It was your Starbucks. It was your Starbucks.
It was my Starbucks. Yes,
you were getting the Smoothie King every day.
Yeah. So I think after I left the nonprofit, I was applying for all these jobs that I wasn't getting. And I'm like, I'm super overqualified for these jobs. So it started to hurt my feelings a little bit. And I saw myself slipping into a depression. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, depression is not a bad thing. As human beings, we are meant to live and experience every emotion and every feeling that there is on this earth. And depression is one of them. Because after years of challenges and things like that, it's a normal human reaction to get to that point at some time in your life. The point of it all is getting out of it, right? You got to get up and get out of it. So I was depressed, laying in the bed, not doing my hair, ignoring my kids, just sleeping all day. And then I talked to one of my girlfriends and she's like, what was it that you really enjoyed doing? What was it? What is the thing that you would do even if you weren't paid for it? And I said, I really enjoyed running my store. And like an epiphany, she came down and was like, hey, well, why don't you do that again? I was like, why I should, right? So I called up Smoothie King and they were excited to hear from me. I told them where I was living now. And it was like the stars aligned. So tidbit for you entrepreneurs, when you get the word on what you're supposed to do, move on it immediately. If you procrastinate,
we cannot speed past that. DJ, bring that back.
Right,
Rewind.
When you get the word to do what you're supposed to do, act on it immediately. Don't go call your girlfriend, your mama, your homeboy.
We gotta
share it with them.
we gotta have validation from everybody.
Exactly, and that stops you from moving because other people's opinions is not going to be yours. It's not their blessing, it's yours. So when you get the word on what you're supposed to move on, you move on it and you ignore everyone else. So my friend shared that word and I immediately sat up out of my bed, bonnet on and everything. And I contacted Smoothie King, and out of the blue, the person that answered the phone remembered me. He's like, how are you? How are the boys? How are you doing? I told him I wanted to come back and he was like, we'll love to have you back because we know that you were a good franchisee. It was just bad timing. And ironically enough, the stars aligned. If I had waited another day or two to make that phone call, I wouldn't be a Smoothie King owner today. There was a location in Colombia. She needed my help. We partnered. I eventually bought her out. And that's how I got back into Smoothie King. And not only did I use my failures as a catalyst to my success, but I did it in an amazing way by coming back, making that store a King's Club store, which is like the highest level store in the system, opening BWI, being the first Black woman to ever own a Smoothie King franchise in an airport, and then turning around and opening Laurel right behind it, a year behind it, and showing you that I can go from bankruptcy to owning 3 locations all by myself, no partners, just 100% me.
Yeah, we just us as people, we often sometimes we don't believe how strong we really are. I mean, I know you're tough. I know you're from Brooklyn. I know I know all that. But you remember, and I'm not gonna put all your business out there, but you remember that was that one time when we had that conversation, and even though you came from the bankruptcy, and even though you opened up the BWI, you were like, you was ready to throw your hands up. You was ready to, but then you knuckle back down. You went further into your dreams and your destiny, and so can you talk about that a little bit? How you?
Yeah. Yes. So
you take that breath. You took that breath like, okay, all right.
Because it brought back memories, and I got a little sensitive. So, like being an entrepreneur, a lot of people always like to share their story and sugarcoat it, like, "Oh yeah, everything is great." No.
I told you, people they never share the L's. They never
share that. Every day it's a struggle. Okay, I open my eyes, it's something crazy going on. So I found myself in another financial bind. Maybe what was it, about 2 years ago,
right,
where I had to do. So every couple of years, as with most franchises, they'll make you redo the store. So if your store is 10 years old, it's out of date, you'll have to do a remodel to do the store. So I was in the process of doing my remodel after I just opened 2 stores. So, my cash flow was a little tight. And I made the biggest mistake of my life by trusting somebody to do the remodel for me for that cheaper price.
Preach,
right?
Preach.
A lot of times when we find ourselves in financial binds, we're like, okay, let's go with the homeboy hookup. That homeboy hookup pretty much almost had me losing all of my businesses. So this gentleman gutted my store and disappeared and stole about maybe $60,000 from me. And at that time, that 60,000 was like my entire cash flow because we were in the winter seasons. And as you know, in the winter, people don't buy smoothies as much.
It's slower. It's a slow month.
Exactly. So
And
I
but
found myself.
you were still because I remember talking to you. You were still making payroll. You were still making payroll. You were still paying your stuff. And that's the thing. And I'm telling you, that's the part we don't talk about as business owners. Everybody else getting paid. You was paying everybody.
Except myself. And I'm telling you, on payroll Fridays, everyone is happy because they have a check, and I'm cringing. I was always grumpy on Fridays because that's when my money was just gone. All the money I worked for went to pay other people, couldn't pay myself, couldn't take care of my own needs because I have a store over here that's gutted. The contractor disappears, and my store was closed for 10 months. Imagine owning a business and being shut down for 10 months. That's no revenue coming in for 10 months. And this is one of my stronger stores. And I've got rent to pay. Landlord is on my back, putting eviction notices on the door. I've got BG&E. I can't turn that off because we need it for construction. I've got permits to pay for, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to make this happen. And because of that one store, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, which I do all the time. Taking money from my other locations to cover charges at the closed location, and it put everything into a tailspin. So now I'm at the point where I'm not just going to lose one store, but I'm going to lose all three. And I'm feeling the anxiety from before. Like, man, I look like a failure. It was more my ego than anything else. Worried about what other people would think.
And at this point, though, it's even though as an entrepreneur, you're going through a similar setback. It's different than 2008, right? Because it's not like you didn't pull your all into 2008. This time you were all in, right? You were like, I'm dedicated. I'm prayed up, everything going, and then you get knocked down again, right?
Right. And this time it was harder because I felt like it was my fault.
Right.
I should have vetted this guy. So I'm beating myself up like, girl, what are you crazy? And on top of it, I'm going through it by myself.
Yes.
So fast forward to now, COVID, everybody's in here with me. So, I don't look so bad because, hey, everybody's here. But by me going through that alone, that was a challenge.
One thing I can say, and it's not that you needed to share it with me, but I remember us talking and having conversations. You never, even though you were down, to me, you never sounded defeated, which I talked to a lot of people. Even though you were going through what you were going through, you never, and from when we talked, you never sounded defeated, which is something that you can't, like, watching this video doesn't give you that, right? Watching motivational tapes doesn't give you that. That's you going through 2008. That's you losing, the first one. That's you transferring from Atlanta. It's everything, right? But somewhere deep down inside, did you know that you could bounce back? I don't know. Did you know that you could bounce back from this?
I did, because I've bounced back from a lot of things. So I'm like, okay, this is just another challenge. I'm going to cry sometimes and I'm going to have my bad days. But every morning that I woke up, that was a different day and a different opportunity to make another change. Right. So I just hung in there. And it's like, when God wants you in a certain place, he will send people to help you. Like strangers that I didn't even know came on the scene and was like, look, I'm going to help you with this. I got lawyers helping me. Like everybody was just helping me.
You were, and so let's kind of talk about that too, because there was sort of a turning point. Because I remember talking to you when you were going through it. And then I remember talking to you like, I don't know why they gave me an extension.
Right. Right.
Every day, I remember you were like, I'm going to go in there. They got the chains on the doors when I go in there. And
right.
And it was just, and that's what entrepreneurs, when you go through that thing, is like you go through this almost it almost deepens your faith, because you know that the locks were supposed to be on the place, the bank was supposed to shut your account down,
right down to the wire. I remember that. Like I had to go to court for my landlord. He was just like not understanding at all, and I'm driving to the courthouse, and at the last minute, like I think I got my hands on some money, sent it to the landlord. He's like, okay, well, I won't show up. I didn't trust him, so I showed up anyway to make sure that he wasn't going to show up. But it would be down to the wire where I couldn't praise anyone else but God. I would just have to take a breather and just say, thank you, Lord. And that happens even to this day. Like, I will be needing money, and I'm like, I don't know how this payroll is going to clear this week, but I'm just going to pray that it does. And then boom, we'll have an amazing day and the money is there. So being an entrepreneur, it's not just having the skills and abilities and the wherewithal, it's having the stamina to go through the things that would normally kill other people, but definitely makes us stronger. And we're a chosen few. Everyone can't do what we do, right, Corey?
Amen. Amen. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everyone, just
Everybody
just
can't.
like everybody can't be a king or a queen. Like somebody got to wave when the king and queen walk by.
Somebody, yeah, exactly. So, when you're chosen for this career, like you won't give up because it's kind of like your project and you have to see it all the way through. It's kind of like your child. I'm never giving up on my kids. So
Right.
I'm never giving up on this. And it's not necessarily Smoothie King. I may give up on that one day, but I'll bet you I'll be starting another business doing something else. Like I'm never going to stop being an entrepreneur because that's who I am.
So knowing what you know now, if there are other there's young girls out there, because the other part that we haven't talked about, which I know, is you're always giving back. You're always helping somebody. Like the staff that you have, a few are older, but you're always reaching out to a younger demographic to bring them in and teach them business or show them something. So like, what would you say to that young person out there that could be watching this, and not that they want to follow exactly the Smoothie King thing, but if they wanted to, how could they, what kind of words of motivation could you give to them to help them along?
So it stems from me growing up in Brooklyn. Like, New York is New York, but you never really see many people that look like me owning anything in New York. So as a little girl, I would always say like, man, I wish I had someone to mentor me on this because I pretty much learned everything on my own. Kind of like what we do. I had a job at the public library and I read all the business books. That's how I learned to do what I'm doing. So if I could have someone that could teach me some of this, that would be great. So I pride myself on giving teenagers their first opportunity to work because what an impact we can make if a teenager's very first job is working for someone that looks like them. And I'm not a worker, I'm the president of this company. So, how often do you get to work side by side with the president of any company that you would ever work for? And then the president looks like you. And then the president is open. If you have questions, I will answer them. I'm going to give you the skills and abilities that you need to get you further in life no matter what you want to do, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you want to go to corporate America, whatever it is, I'm teaching you those skills. And I think that's the most fulfilling part about what I do when I see my 16-year-olds grow up into 30-year-olds. And for instance, one of my kids that I call them my kids because they are, he's Chris Brown's PR manager. I have another one that's a model. She's in all these magazines. Another one that's an on-air anchor for the news. And I pretty much gave them their basic skills, greeting people, handshaking, eye contact, some of the things that our parents may have given us that they don't anymore. They don't teach us this in school anymore. So it's my job to give back and to create little mini me's so we can keep the legacy going.
Right, right. Wow, it's powerful, so powerful. So I know we have spoken before, and you had mentioned even partnering with a company like Smoothie King was good because you said they were so supportive and there for you. And because there's other companies you could have partnered with, like you said, McDonald's, and McDonald's would have been like, well, we need them keys back.
Right. Well, I would never partner with McDonald's. No knock on them, but I don't eat it. So I
Right.
have to be passionate about what I do. And that's another tidbit, guys. If you want to be an entrepreneur, yeah, you can do something that's going to make you big bucks. But at the end of the day, when the challenges come, in order to keep that fight going, you have to be passionate about what you do. If you hate what you do, and when you have those tough times, you're going to want to quit. But if you love what you do and you know that there's a purpose there for you, you got to stick it out. So when you're looking for a business opportunity, look for something that you enjoy doing. Me personally, I'm not a fan of kids. I would never do anything kid related, daycares, jumpy places, nothing like that. But I am a fan of people and grooming people.
You
And
just
I
put
am
that
a
out there
fan
like
of,
this, like I ain't a fan of kids.
I'm not, I'm not. I'm being honest, but I
That's
am
what
a
I want you
fan.
to. I want you to be. I want you to be
Right.
honest.
But I am a fan of pouring into people. So when a customer, and it's not just impacting my team, it's impacting my guests as well. So when a customer comes in and they actually speak to the owner and I walk out and I see the look of, you're the owner in their faces, guess what? I empowered them too. Then they'll pull me to the side and say, hey, how did you do this? And then I share that with them too. I'm an open book. So if my knowledge can move forward and help someone else do the same, then my purpose here is fulfilled, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what's next? Like, so you've dominated the Smoothie King world. You're giving back. You're helping everybody. You know, you're taking over the world. What's next?
Funny that you asked that. So the COVID-19 pandemic has kind of made me open my eyes here. You know, I have a brick and mortar outside, which is still doing pretty good because we've got DoorDash and delivery. I mean, the sales are good, but my net profit is less because now I got to pay all
Yeah,
these
because you got to
delivery
pay them.
people. Right. And but the biggest hit was my airport location. Of course, my airport location was the number one location in the region. I won $1 million club last year, first Black woman to win it in Smoothie King history. And then COVID hit, and I could barely squeeze $100,000 out of that store.
Hey
So
man,
it just
I'm right with you. I'm right with you on that.
right,
My business is what we've done in a year, we used to do in a month.
right. So it pretty much opened my eyes to the fact that my business can be affected. Because before then, I thought I was like, oh, we can't be touched. The airport, that is. I even had a business plan. I went to Goldman Sachs 10,000 business program and had a business plan. And my 5-year business plan was to stop opening stores on the street, focus on airports only. I was in the process of putting a bid for Atlanta's airport, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, maybe I might want to rethink that plan, right? So my wise old son was like, hey, mom, you know, you can't rely on brick and mortars because trends change, people change, environments change. But what will never change is you, the knowledge that you have, your intellectual property, your personality. Those are things that would never change. So funny that you asked that. So I'm looking into different ways where I can maybe create content and share with other people to kind of do what I do. I'm also looking at maybe some online businesses because they seem to be doing pretty good through this pandemic. So it kind of like made me take a step back and course correct as to where I feel I want to go because I'm getting a little old here and eventually I do want to retire. So I want to set myself up where I can fulfill my lifelong goal, which is to be on a yacht in San Tropez sipping champagne
Come on.
while my money in the bank just like increases
Well, come on and
million
speak it
million
then.
dollars.
Speak it. Speak your truth, sis.
Right.
This is a safe space. You're in a safe space.
Right.
Speak your truth. Speak your
So
truth.
I want to start more engaging people and maybe do some public speaking, some motivational speaking, share my experiences because this is just a brief overview of my experiences, but there's a lot more included. We would be here all day, but you know, pretty much every experience that anyone has had, I think that I've experienced as well. So I can be relatable and try to help you navigate through some challenges that you may have and make your business stronger. So
Yeah,
ideally, I want to do.
I 100% totally agree with you. Your struggles are similar to a lot of people, but you are unique in the sense that, you know, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take anything away from you. You are very unique in the sense that how many other Black women out there opening up Smoothie Kings and BWI air? You know, this, I don't know who's watching this. Do you guys know how busy BWI was prior to the pandemic?
Busy,
Crazy,
crazy
crazy.
busy.
And
Like
what time did you guys have? What time did you have to be at work?
we had to open the store at 4 a.m. So our staff had to be there at 3:30. So
Every
do you
day, right?
every day. So do you understand how hard it is to get teenagers and younger people to be at work at 3:30 in the morning?
That's what I'm
That was
saying. Like that's and I didn't, you know, we'll definitely do this again. And I'm glad that you shared. But like I want to, you know, I want to drill down into that. Like people
Mhm.
really don't understand. So when I look back at my business and I say when I look at what you were doing and what you were accomplishing prior to the pandemic, I'm like, how in the hell did you get all like you had to have a cape in your closet? There's no way that you didn't do this if you weren't Superwoman.
Well, what it is that I think that I'm blessed and I'm so transparent that people believe in me. So when my kids meet me, they're like, "Oh, we want to work for Miss Tish." And they show up on time, you know, because we're all in this together. And I treat my team as a team, literally. Like there's no Jordans here. We're all necessary to make this thing work. And with the team atmosphere and you know, with the culture of my stores, my team is so committed and I'm so thankful for them. I have two managers that will not leave me. I can reduce their pay, I can write them up. They're like, we're not going anywhere because we're here for the whole ride. You want to open more airport locations? We'll manage them for you. And that's what it is. Like you have to kind of connect with your team and let them know when I win, you guys win. So let's do this together. And I think I've been able to do that successfully since I've been experiencing it for such a long time.
Yeah, and then you talked about you brought up the fact that you had to pivot, and I do see a lot of business owners where they're not like so this it's February now. I don't know when you may watch this recording, but it's February now. A year ago is when the pandemic started sort of unraveling for us in the industry. You know, it started in January, but I started losing a lot of business in February. And so, I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they've been sitting around for a year, and I'm just telling them like the government ain't going to bail you out. They're not going to, you know, sure the stimulus package and the money and the PPE loans, that's cool, but like you can't just sit around and not do nothing. You cannot do, especially when we have technology, cell phones like this. When would you and I have ever had a chance to sit down and do this? Never.
Right. Never.
So you got to make a pivot. So like you said, some of the things that you're doing are you're making these pivots now. What kind of things do you think other entrepreneurs could be doing out there in these times before the world, I don't know what the new norm is going to be, but before the world opens back up, what kind of things could other entrepreneurs be looking to do?
Well, I have a marketing background, so I strongly believe in marketing. Marketing is the way you can get your business out there. A lot of entrepreneurs are scared to market because it's like, okay, I've got this little pot of money, I got payroll, rent, this and that. I don't want to spend it on marketing, but you're doing yourself an injustice if you don't spend it on marketing, because that's how your business will grow so that you can grow that pot of money. So what I did was I invested a lot into social media posting. I created a text message program where I can send out different text messages to, I think I have about 4,000 people signed up for my text messages. And every now and then I'll throw out free smoothie if you come in between 11 and 1 today. And it drives excitement in the community. I went and bought a vehicle. I have a Kia Soul that I wrapped in Smoothie King. And on the back of it, it says, "We cater," with our phone number. And I drive it around town and honk the horn so people can pay attention. I just randomly honk the horn. And so, it's just different things out of the box, like social media. Think about it. Everyone's on their phone. If you can just spend maybe a good $300 or $400 extra a month on sponsoring these ads and getting, your message in front of other people, that is so impactful. I know businesses who just, all they do is social media.
Right.
Like these hair places and I bought so many things off of Instagram.
Right.
It's out of control. So, and then also pivoting, lucky for me, I'm a part of a franchise. So the whole franchise system was impacted. So we have a corporate office that will come up with different things. So we were able to get our app up and running, and people can order from the app and pick it up or get it delivered to their house and, different things like that. A lot of smaller businesses wouldn't have that. So you've got to like be creative and do it yourself, and don't shy away from the simple things. Like I put banners at one point. I was the only location opened in my shopping center. I was like, what? Parking is amazing. Let me use that to my advantage. So in all the parking spots, I stuck these yard signs. We're open. I put up a big banner at the front of the shopping center. It says Smoothie King open. I put up a big banner on the other side. When I tell you I had so much Smoothie King stuff all over this shopping center, but it was okay because no one else was open. So no one cared.
That's what I'm saying. Like you gotta have this passion for your business.
Right.
Go ahead.
I always break the rules and ask for forgiveness later. Right. Well, and to this day, my banners are still up. Someone stole one of them, but one of my banners are still up, and the landlord hasn't asked me to take it down yet. So it's going to stay up there until it rots off.
Until they say something. Hey, listen.
Exactly.
Let it go. Keep going.
Exactly.
Right. Well, look, like I said, we can keep going. I don't want to end this, but where can people find you? If they're looking, if they're watching this and they want to know, where can they find you, and how could someone, if they want to start at a Smoothie King, how could they get into business?
So, Smoothie King has a website where you can click on there and you can see how to become a franchisee. The prices vary. I know when I started, it was $25,000 to get on board. And then, of course, you have your construction costs, your build out, your equipment, and your inventory. So it runs anywhere between maybe $200,000 and $350,000 to open a store. And don't quote me on that because I haven't opened one recently. So those numbers may change based on your market and your location and things of that nature. If you go on smoothieking.com, you can find it. Actually, there's a video of me. I'm giving a testimony as to being a franchisee on the page, so you can listen to my story as well on there. But, ultimately it's a good franchise. I do feel like we're in a great position right now because health and wellness is what's on everybody's mind. We have a smoothie that has an immune builder in it that can actually protect you from catching viruses and colds and things of that nature. So we're seeing a big growth in that area, health and wellness. So I think it's a good time to get in. They also offer different discounts to vets and first responders and things like that. So if you're a vet or a first responder, inquire about that. You guys can find me on Instagram. Tish Talks is my handle. Also, website coming soon, tishtalks.com. Or you can just email me. My email address is tisha@smoothieKingMD.com. So you can shoot me an email if you have any additional questions. Just reach out to me. I'm open and transparent. I'll try my best to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
Man, we're gonna make you I know it say Smoothie King, but we're gonna make you the Smoothie King Queen, right?
That's what everybody calls me anyway, Smoothie Queen. So hey, we need to change the name one day.
You are doing
right.
Is there any social media handles for your business, or does that all kind of go through Smoothie King?
Well, no, I manage it as well. So on Facebook, it's just Smoothie King Laurel, Smoothie King BWI. Same thing for Instagram, Smoothie King Laurel, Smoothie King BWI. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So you can
also had because I follow you your stuff too. You've also had a lot of celebrity people stop through your the Smoothie King. So who are some of the people that stop by? And I've seen you in the photos, and they've tagged you. And
so you've got to be smart with it. Like I said, I'm a born marketer, so I'm always coming up with a way to grow and expand my business, right? So I created an incentive with my team. If you get a picture of a celebrity holding a Smoothie King cup, you'll get $5 on the spot, right? If you get them to hashtag and shout us out, you get $10 on the spot. So what happens whenever my team members see a celebrity, they are breaking their necks to get their $5 and $10. And then they send me the pictures, and then I use them to promote my store on social media, right? Smart.
Yeah.
So we've had everyone. We've had Donnie McClurkin, Kirk Franklin, Teddy Riley, Emmanuel Lewis, Little Webster, Brave Williams. I mean, we've had Martin Luther King Jr. stop by the store. Ed Reed he was at my Columbia store a lot. He's always coming by the BWI. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, we see celebrities every day, and not just the celebrities. My friends and family, whenever they come by, they all know the rule. Take a selfie in front of the store, and I'm reposting it. And then I do a promotion.
Every time I go, I call you, but I'm on the Southwest airline side. And then I got I got the TSA thing. So I just be like, all right, Tish, where you still at? You be like, you can't get over here in time. What time is your flight?
Right. So the challenge at BWI Airport is the terminals are not all connected. Right. And I'm on DE terminal, which is not connected to the Southwest terminal. So if you're flying Southwest, you most likely will not be able to patronize me. But we're coming up with a plan. I think we're going to create an app where you can order it over there and we'll deliver it to you. I'm always being creative.
I saw that at the airport. They have the app at BWI where you can order your food and I guess it's GPS
bring it to your gate,
whatever. Yeah.
So hey, you've always got to come up with new creative ways to grow your business.
And that's what I'm saying. There's always a way.
Yeah, always a way. Always a way.
Cool. Well, listen, thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Corey. This was great. Feel free to have me on again. We can talk about other topics too. I'm not just a Smoothie King expert. I'm pretty much a small expert in a lot of other different fields because I've done a lot in my time. So, and again, thank you for having this venue where entrepreneurs like me can just share our stories and inspire other people, because we've got to keep this cycle going. When I'm no longer on this earth, someone's got to pick up the torch for me. We've got to keep this going. So thank you for having this venue that we can do that.
Hey, it's all about us being grindpreneurs. So I gotta I think at this point I gotta get you a grindpreneur shirt.
I need one.
Yeah. I gotta get you a grindpreneur shirt. And if there's anybody out there in the comments down below, if you've made it this far into this, if there's Tish, she really is world renowned in anything. I mean, we talked about Smoothie King today, but if there's any information that you want her to answer, or if there's some questions that you may have, leave those down in the comments down below. And I'm sure she's cool. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm sure we can create a whole nother podcast because it's not just about Smoothie King could be anything to Tish.
Yeah.
Smoothie King could be a movie company. It could be a television. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that work ethic behind you to push that product.
Right, because that work ethic is going to be transferable into everything that you do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I always say on these guys, I'm also have, we got our book called Never Give Up. So if there's anybody out there, if you're watching this, if you made it this far, I always do this on everyone. If you comment down below or you get in contact with me, the first person that gets in contact with me, I will send you a free autographed copy of my book, Never Give Up. And in the back of my book, Never Give Up, there is a dream checklist. And what I normally tell a lot of people is this dream checklist, I will not make a promise and tell you that it will make you $1 million because, I hope it does. But you definitely will be able to change your life. The reason that I know that this dream checklist works is because I did it. So these were the things, that's how I was able to build a multiple six-figure business. So if you get in contact with me, and also I add some links down below, and I will also add links to Tisha's stuff so you can find her. And if you're in BWI, man, or if you're in Laurel, swing by, show us some love.
Corey, can I add something to your giveaway?
You can do whatever you want. It's your world, Smoothie Queen.
I'm gonna add a Smoothie King gift card.
What?
So when you comment below and you win the book, you'll also get a Smoothie King gift card as well.
Look at God. Won't he?
Right.
Didn't he done it?
Right.
Well, look, like I always say, thank you, Tish. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching.
You.
And if, like we always say, if you've never ever seen anyone come from nothing to, it's not necessarily about the money, but multiple six-figure business, giving back to the community, changing the world. My friends, I challenge you, that is a lie, because if you're watching these videos, I'm showing you people like this beautiful young lady right here out there in the community doing it every single day, no days off. She's not giving up. All right, Tish, we out of here, man. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, just grind, and grind. Never give up. Believe in yourself more than anybody else would ever believe in you, and you will be successful.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. We out.